Lieutenant Colonel Peter Badoain changed my life. When I first came to Smithfield High School as a freshman and joined JROTC first semester, he was a co-teacher with First Sergeant, but he wasn't my teacher. So I didn't get to know him very well, and since he is Lieutenant Colonel Peter Badoain, I was a bit intimidated. However, as soon as I joined drill team, I started to see his true colors. I started to see that he would watch every single event, that he would look at every single command sheet and make sure that they were doing it right, give them advice after they commanded, and even bring his wife's cookies to the drill meet, so that way, win or lose, we still had a reward after. This year was truly a very introductory one for me in JROTC. I started to learn the who's who, I started to learn how to follow. And this was one of the most important skills that First Sergeant and Colonel taught me. Colonel was really able to hammer this in home by being the head cadre, the head teacher in the JROTC unit, and still letting First Sergeant control drill because he knew it better. Here, Colonel was able to show us that being a leader doesn't always mean being in charge. Sophomore year, I was able to learn a lot more from Colonel because this year I was in his class. Sophomore year, Colonel taught me that even if you're doing a lot of the work, doesn't mean that you need to get the credit, and that you actually need to put the credit elsewhere. This was one of the most important lessons that I have learned so far in life. In learning this lesson, I discovered that even if I make a great achievement, that I need to make sure that the people who contributed to it, the other people who worked for it, get the credit instead of just being the one in the limelight. With this also came the acceptance that if I made a decision and that if we acted on that decision and that it went poorly, that was also my responsibility. Sophomore year was a very hard time for me personally, but through my schoolwork, Colonel and I actually communicated, and I was able to get a lot of the support that I needed from outside of my family, from outside of my friend group, and that really made me feel like I had an unbiased supporter who truly felt like what I was doing was right. Junior year was when Colonel took a chance on me and put me in a leadership position that even I wasn't sure that I was ready for. For this, of course, I put together a 12-page booklet on why I wanted the job, but I never thought that he would actually give it to me. Once he gave me this job, it was a lot to handle. He made me the executive officer of the entire battalion. In this position, I would probably come and eat lunch with Colonel about once a week. And he supported this and was perfectly okay with giving me advice and supporting me, even on what was supposed to be his break. With this support from Colonel that year, I was actually able to create a new event. And when I kept asking Colonel about logistics and small things, he would look at me and say, make it happen. Having that amount of faith and support from anyone is completely a life-changing experience. And I had it from a man that I had already looked up to for 2 years. Senior year, I was made the battalion commander of the entire JROTC unit by First Sergeant and Colonel. Having this position, being completely in charge on a cadet level, was challenging, of course. And going through it this year was very interesting for me because of all of the challenges that 2019 and 2020 have prepared for us. Being in this position this year, with all of Colonel's support, has meant the world to me. Being able to execute the different things that a battalion commander has to do, I found to be very difficult. But once again, every step of the way, Lieutenant Colonel Peter Badoain was there. And he would even come to some of my personal events this year and years prior. I joined the American Legion Oratorical Contest, which he would do his best to attend. This was absolutely amazing for me and completely life-changing to have someone support me, someone outside of my small circle, which I said before, come and support each and every one of my events.